Hi everyone. So I'm back after a week of having an incredibly challenging flu, which I am presuming it was COVID, although I tested negative twice. Both my girls tested positive. They had COVID. We had exactly the same symptoms. It was just insanity. Let me just explain what I actually understood at a very deep level once I was extremely sick and fatigued and incapable of moving. So the day right before that, I had filled up my calendar for the upcoming week. And I had been really very busy doing all the time, doing a million things, even in thought. Like, even my thoughts were busy, like, okay, this is what needs to be done. And all the thoughts were overlapping as I was doing. And then my daughter shows up. She wakes up at 4 o'clock in the morning, Monday morning, with a crazy fever. And I'm like, oh crap. This is the first day of the week, and now everything's going to have to stop. So imagine yourself in this doing place where you're in this crazy, like, that's it. It's not stopping, right? There's no breaks. It's like jumping from one thing to the next to the next. And even if I'm not in the doing, I'm doing in my brain, right? I'm busy thinking. So what's interesting was that when that came, I was in resistance to it. I couldn't surrender to the fact that my daughter's sick, and so let me stop everything. All I kept thinking of is, oh my God, how am I going to do this? How am I going to work this week out from the confines of the home with a sick girl and figuring out how to take my other daughter to school and who I can call to help. Right? So I was like in that frenzy, like, how could I didn't want to cancel any of my appointments. I was like, no, this is maybe just a 1-day thing, a 2-day thing. Don't worry about it. And the resistance, the panic, the wah, right, was not serving me at all. Right? I wasn't attuned to what the divine had planned for me. I was being my human self, controlling the day, the week, the hour, what I'm supposed to do. So I don't waste time in life. Right? I'm thinking most of you probably align with this and understand this, right? It's like, don't waste time. There's no time to waste. I'm going to do a million things. And while I'm doing the million things, I'm going to think a million thoughts, right? So anyway, so as I was in that frenzy state, because it's as if I was like on a train, and then there was like a wall and I was supposed to stop, and I was trying to dodge the wall not to stop and continue my speed regardless of all the obstacles or anything that came in my way to stop me. When all of a sudden the next morning, so I didn't sleep all night, of course, taking care of my little one, woke up at 4 in the morning myself, me and my other little one, with crazy high fevers. And then I understood. It was just when that happened did I surrender. Right? That I say, oh, this is for me to take a break. This is for me to completely stop, because I have been doing more than being. I wasn't being more present. I was doing, right? And so as it happened now, as you all know, I hope you haven't all experienced COVID, but even in that experience, as scary and painful as it is, there's always beauty in everything that we go through. And the beauty of COVID for me was that it shut me down completely. I was so fatigued, beyond fatigued, just moving. Like, I couldn't even type on the phone. Like, I couldn't even respond to messages. Like, I had to leave like a crazy, stupid voice message for anyone saying like, hello, I can't talk. That's how I left messages to cancel all the appointments I had, right? Because I couldn't even type, I couldn't open my eyes. I was beyond fatigued. I didn't even remember like what I had to let go of. It would just show up that, oh, don't forget to call this person, and I would just send a voice message. And what I understood at such a deep level is that when I surrendered to it, I was open to receiving what I needed to receive. I was more open to the divine's inspiration, which was simple. It was basically just stop. Just stop, because I wasn't in the receiving mode as much, right? I was more in the being, the doing, not the being. So the fatigue took over, and I experienced something profound, which I usually experience during the meditations. However, this time I experienced it for 2 to 3 days straight, if not 4 days. But for at least those 2 days where I was completely knocked out, incapable of getting up, moving a finger, thinking. There were no thoughts in my head at all. I couldn't think. Thinking was exhausting, and that's when I realized even in that I was doing and not just chilling out, right? So what I experienced was what Eckhart Tolle keeps discussing and talking about. It's where the mental mind goes completely silent. And I didn't understand it because all of a sudden I was in a very peaceful place internally. It didn't matter to me anymore, all the things I needed to do. It didn't matter anymore to overlap my thinking and figure out what I need to do with my life or what I need to do here or who do I need to call. None of that mattered. Everything went silent. And all that mattered was to rest and go into deep sleep and enjoy the fact that no matter how much I could try to push myself, it was not going to happen. It was not going to happen. My body was not performing anymore. And I experienced for those days, those magical days, peace. Yes, body ache and pain and headache and all that gunk. That was very external. But internally, there was this magical peace. And I understood then and there what it means to have a peaceful mind. What it means to have thoughts just subside. For me not to latch on to every thought and run with it while they keep overlapping one another. Where it's okay to let go and let the divine take over. Nothing happened, right? Nothing happened other than I found a deeper level of being within me that I hadn't found before. And I know that this is just the evolutionary state, and maybe it was my desire to go there more frequently, not just in my meditations, within my life, that allowed me to actually surrender to this experience and actually bask in the gift that I was being given. So until today, there is that fatigue. It's nowhere close to how intense it is. But when I exert a lot of energy or think too much, which now too much is like a few thoughts here and there, then immediately my body goes into fatigue. And now I'm learning how to do one thing at a time while I breathe in the middle of thoughts, tasks, things that I need done, right? And not overlapping them. Because my body right now with this fatigue cannot do more than that. And now I have to respect this and take it as this is my learning curve on how to evolve to a different kind of being on this planet, right? Without the rush of there is no time and there's so much I gotta do. And more of everything's working out perfectly for me. I just need to now learn how to be with this new identity that I am being taught, right? That my body is being stopped from going further than what I am given the ability to do right now. Little small shots of things, right? With breathing space. So the reason I'm sharing this with you is because it's been extremely insightful this whole entire week. When things happen, the only option is to surrender to them, because the longer we resist it as it is happening, right, the less we are capable of reaping the fruits of the blessings that are coming within what we're assuming to be something bad, our interpretation of it being a bad thing. And to surrender to it completely with the belief, the faith, and the knowledge that this is all in service to my highest and best good. and it gets relieved. Everything becomes very different when we surrender to whatever it is that shows up. And then you are able to receive the insights, the wisdom, that whatever the challenges are that hold within are able to show themselves to you, right? When we surrender. So my big thing is surrender. It's been for a while, but now it's really, really in the practice of the beauty of surrendering. It has worked for me so many times, so many examples, right? But as a human, we forget. And then we evolve deeper and deeper as we keep remembering over and over again how surrender is the solution to everything. So even in that, surrender to thoughts, right? Surrender to what the body wants. Surrender to the challenge. Just surrender to it without resisting it. Just allow it to open itself to you, to show you what it's trying to offer you. And just receive. And everything always works out for our highest and best good. Even though I'm still congested and I'm still fatigued, I'm in gratitude, in thanks to my Creator for providing me with the gifts within COVID that I had experienced in the past week, to add to my toolbox of remembering who I am and stepping more and more into my soul gifts in more powerful ways. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you can find times where you've gone through challenges yourself and you've surrendered and you've reaped the benefits of it with such clarity. Don't forget to subscribe, press like, leave your comments below, share your stories with me, and I'll see you in the next episode.